So my very first video, and the whole reason I started putting videos up was because it was because of a 6-year-old boy that I had taken care of when I worked at Northwestern Medicine in the ER in a rural area, not the one in Chicago. And I'm a mental health nurse, but I worked in the ER as we had a special part of the ER. It was very nice, a great team, and we had like a living room, and they had their rooms, but they weren't, it was more therapeutic, put it that way. But we had a 6-year-old foster or DCFS kid come into us, and he had sabotaged two of his foster homes, like in less than 24 hours, to come back to us. And Dean Harrison, he's the CEO of Northwestern, the scumbag that he is. And let me just say this, it's not just because of that I say he's a scumbag. He's a scumbag because he's all in with the New World Order. He put in blacklisted thermal cameras the week of lockdowns. I got the serial numbers off of them. I've told this in many videos. But they were linked to one of the telecom services that Trump had blacklisted for national security reasons. No big deal or anything. And then they did 2 double lung transplants during the height of COVID. You just everything, and their political agenda they pushed, and just pushing down people's throats. That's what makes Dean Harrison, the CEO of Northwestern Medicine, a scumbag. But this would make him even a bigger scumbag. Is really the number one thing is what happened to the 6-year-old kid, and I don't know what happened to him. I wish I did. I mean, all I know is he ended up in a DCFS shelter. One that's known for being horrible conditions, one that is, there was no reason for it to happen. So this kid sabotaged a couple of where they had placed him, and he came back to us because he felt safe with us. The number one thing you want for a kid that's in the Department of Family Services system, that's that young, that's 6 years old, you want them to feel safe. The way to handle, like, obviously the ER is not a place for him to live, but the therapeutic and proper way to handle it would have been to let the staff, myself, the people that work in this area, because Dean Harrison, he's just only in his wallet, doesn't care about anybody. But if he did care about people, he would have realized this is a 6-year-old little boy. We have to do what's right. We have to do what's right for his health and safety. And that would be to let the staff help him transition with the family that he'll be going into properly. Make the transition easier for the child so that it doesn't have to be this, we rip you, out of the, well, no, they did the very opposite, because Dean Harrison told Department of Family Services that if you don't get the kid out by morning, we're going to charge you with abandonment. Worst thing, and here's why this doesn't make sense. Because for months, less than a year before that, we had 2 teenagers, 16 and 17, in our ER. At the same time, on my side of the ER, in the mental health area, I mean, that were both Department and Family Services kids. They were teenagers, though, and they were with us for 4 months. 4 months. And Dean Harrison never anything about that. So I just wonder, and this is just my opinion, let me make this clear, this is just my opinion, is that, was there some sort of arrangement made? Did DCFS want the 6-year-old and not want to have to find placement, find another foster family? So it's easier just have the hospital demand that we come get him, and then we can take him down to the Chicago shelter. Because it just was everything against what any normal human being should do to a child. So that's why I started making the videos. And because it doesn't make sense, it troubled me for a long time. Why was it no big deal for 4 months for us to keep a 16 and 17-year-old at the very same time? Because this wasn't about taking up a bed, okay? Because if the two teenagers were no big deal to Dean Harrison, then why was the 6-year-old? So I just wonder if it was arranged. And considering that at every level, everything is corrupted, and anybody who lives in Illinois knows that the DCFS system, the Department of Family Services system, is totally corrupted. It's the worst place. The state is the worst guardian. I've said it before. They're the most abusive and most neglectful guardian any child could have. But I was watching this video online. The channel was Gordon Rose, and he had uncovered some things in Arizona And he called it the Black Robe Mafia, because the justice system is corrupted. And he goes into what goes on behind closed doors. You know, it's just so sick. It's so disgusting. You know, it's all these scumbags, all of them. You know, and this is why I talk about the whole spiritual part of this, and that people need to connect to God, because I think that's the only answer, because it's so embedded in everything. It's corrupted science, it's corrupted media, it's corrupted education, it's corrupted hospitals, it's corrupted medicine, it's corrupted states, and it's corrupt justice. So when you have all of that, and really it's a global syndicate controlling everything, your only hope is God. I'm not saying that people can't rise up together, yes, but ultimately the true force will be from God. And I do know that that will happen. I can't tell you how I know that, but I do. Because I can see too why the Bible talks about there being a veil of delusion on these people. Because clearly, like in my state, Governor Pritzker, he carries on like he's so confident. So do all these hospitals. I mean, they just do whatever they want. So they clearly have a veil of delusion on them. Because and the Bible does talk about the wicked having a veil of delusion. And they do, because they don't realize what's coming. And I don't mean like, you know, me or any people coming after them. I mean the Almighty God. Because I think that when you reach a global level of this happening in every country, and it's to this degree of dystopian, and the corruption is so bad, and the justice system works more for the criminals and the pedophiles than it does for the innocent, then I think that the creator of all this may decide, I've had enough. I don't know. We'll see. But because that channel I watched about the Black Robe Mafia, it's just that's not just going on in Arizona. Anybody, we all know, come on, the average everyday American knows the justice system doesn't work for you. Works for somebody else. It all works for the criminals. It all, you know, I mean, it's amazing that the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, that he got off. But, I mean, you know, that's, what, one out of how many times it really just goes towards the good old boys club of every justice system in every county. It is. It's what it is. It's a good old boys club. Just like the hospitals and their CEOs are a good old boys club. And all your nursing and professional organizations and medical associations and hospital associations is a good old boys club. All of it. The government, good old boys club. So when it's that bad, then you need something greater to fix it. Whenever any governors talk about that they're mandating child abuse, like masks on children and all this stuff and all the things they're doing, and they say it's because of health and safety, or your hospital CEOs say it's because of health and safety, just realize all you have to do when they say those things, like when Dean Harrison or Governor Pritzker talks about health and safety, just reverse it, and then you'll be on the right track. When they say, we have to do this for health and safety, what they're really saying is, I have to do this for myself and my wallet.